think about the strongest person you know. Not physically strong. I mean the person who always has it together. The one who never complains. The one who, no matter what is happening in their life, looks you in the eye and says, "I'm fine." Now ask yourself this. Are they actually fine? Or have they just gotten so good at carrying things alone that nobody even thinks to check anymore? Because here's what psychology has found. The people who never ask for help are not always the strongest people in the room. Sometimes they're the ones who are quietly falling apart. And the reason they stay silent has nothing to do with weakness. It goes much deeper than that. The first reason? They are terrified of being a burden. This one runs deep in a lot of people. They look at the people around them and they think, everyone has their own problems. Everyone is already dealing with something. Who am I to add to that? So they swallow it, whatever it is, the stress, the anxiety, the problem that keeps them awake at 3 in the morning. They carry it alone because in their mind, their struggle is simply not important enough to bring to someone else. And here's the cruel part. The longer they carry it alone, the more normal it starts to feel. They stop even recognizing it as a burden. It just becomes who they are, the person who handles things, the person who is fine, until they aren't. The second reason, asking feels more dangerous than staying silent. To ask for help, you have to admit that you need it. And admitting that you need something from someone else requires you to be vulnerable. For a lot of people, that vulnerability is genuinely terrifying because at some point in their life, being vulnerable cost them something. Maybe they opened up and were dismissed. Maybe they asked for support and were judged. Maybe they showed their struggle and the person they showed it to used it against them somehow. The exact experience varies, but the lesson the brain took away was the same. Showing weakness is dangerous. So the brain built a wall, not to be cold, not to be distant, but to stay safe. And now, even when help would genuinely make everything easier, that wall goes up automatically. Because the brain is not thinking about this specific moment. It is thinking about every moment like this one that went badly before. The third reason, letting someone help feels like losing control. For some people, the only thing standing between them and total overwhelm is the feeling that they are handling it, that they are in control of their own situation, that things are moving because they are making them move. The moment they hand something to someone else, that feeling disappears. What if that person does it wrong? What if they make it worse? What if asking for help means admitting that I actually cannot handle this on my own? That last question is the real one, because for these people, handling everything alone is not just a habit, it is part of their identity. It's how they prove to themselves every single day that they are capable, that they are enough. And asking for help feels like a direct threat to that proof. The fourth reason? They have been let down before. This one is probably the most important and the least talked about. A lot of people who never ask for help tried asking once, maybe more than once. And what they got back was not support. It was indifference or criticism, or someone who heard their struggle and somehow made it about themselves, or someone who promised to help and then simply did not show up. After that happens enough times, the brain stops categorizing help as relief. It starts categorizing it as risk, and the calculation changes completely. Why would I ask for something that is probably just going to disappoint me and leave me feeling worse than before I asked? So they stop asking, and they keep going alone, because alone, at least, the outcome is predictable. Now, here is what all of this is actually costing them. Carrying everything alone does not just feel heavy. Over time, it changes a person. The exhaustion builds quietly. The loneliness sets in, even when they are surrounded by people. They start to feel stuck in a way they cannot quite explain, like they are moving but not getting anywhere. And the worst part is that nobody around them knows, because from the outside, they still look fine. They still show up. They still handle things. They are still the strong one. But strength was never meant to be a solo act. The people who thrive long-term, not just survive, but actually thrive, are the ones who learned that reaching out is not a sign that they cannot handle life. It is a sign that they are smart enough to know they do not have to handle all of it alone. So if this is you, here is what I want you to hear. You do not have to suddenly become someone who shares everything. That is not the point. The point is just one small shift. The next time something feels too heavy, instead of automatically deciding to carry it alone, pause for 1 second and ask yourself, is there someone I could let in right now? Not because you are weak, not because you cannot handle it, but because you are strong enough to know the difference between independence and unnecessary isolation. The bravest thing is not always pushing through alone. Sometimes the bravest thing is simply saying, I need a little help with this one.